Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business or your life to the next level. Today, I am so excited to finally have on my show, Sarah St. John. Let me tell you a little bit about Sarah. She is an entrepreneur, a podcaster, online course creator, and author. She has created several startups throughout her entrepreneurial career of over a decade. She currently owns a podcast production agency called PodSeam. She is also the podcast host of Frugalpreneur, building a business on a bootstrapped budget, which aims to show people how to launch and manage an online business on a budget. Our theme is the power of podcasting for business. Please join me in welcoming Sarah St. John. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is that you're listening to this. Good day to Sarah St. John. Hello.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it's been a while since we originally scheduled. So just a quick correction, my company, the name has changed. It's not PodSeam now, it's the Pod Planet. But
Pod Planet. Okay, well, we'll correct that in the notes so people can get to that. But take note, everyone. Pod is like P in planet capitalized?
So it's thepodplanet.com.
All right. Thepodplanet.com. Excellent. Great name, too.
Thank you.
So we always start out with another easy question, and that is, what is the part of country you call home? Where do you live?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Yes, it's hot there. I hear. I just interviewed somebody yesterday from the Dallas area, and they were saying both of us had in the 90s, your heat index was way more. Yes, you're visiting the triple digits already in July. All right, so we're going to get right into this. I love podcasting, and so I'd love to have people that have been doing it longer than me. I've only been doing it for about 1.5 years now, but it is one of my favorite things to do. So glad I decided to do this post-retirement. And I'd like for you, though, to explain, how do you start an online business with just $5? Because it costs me a whole lot more than $5.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, every online business, I think the most important thing is to have a website, obviously, and create an email newsletter or like a lead magnet as a way to get new leads and then send them a lead magnet and and then they'd be on your email list. So, I mean, just starting out, you could get like a WordPress website, which is free. You just have to pay for hosting, which is as little as maybe $3 a month, depending on who you go with. And then the email service providers usually have some kind of free plan up to a certain number of subscribers. I use SendFox, which is actually free up to, I think, 1,000 subscribers, but then they have like a $49 one-time payment to get, more subscribers. And I love SendFox, especially for like podcasters, YouTubers, bloggers, anyone like that, because you can connect your RSS feed or your YouTube channel, and it'll automatically generate and send out newsletters with your new episodes.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, so starting with $5, a website and an email list really is all you need to get started. If you don't want to go the WordPress route, there's like Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. Those are probably more like $20 a month, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know I have WordPress.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve, but I think once you learn it, then it's worth doing WordPress because you can fully customize it.
What I had, the reason it cost me more than $5 is I did a done for you, and so
okay.
It was pretty easy. In 3 months, I had everything ready to go, so that was great. So if anybody's out there that doesn't want to do it yourself, there are options, but it costs more than $5.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you maintain though that online business for under $100 a month?
Yeah, so I've been able to maintain all my businesses online for under 100 because I will either go with software that's free or the free plan and then only upgrade if and when I need to.
Right.
Other softwares I use, I've been able to work out a deal where I get it for free if I list them as like a featured resource, basically. So kind of a combination of either going with free software and that requires, some digging around and comparing and all of that to see.
Right.
And then, maybe for me anyway, and I don't know that this would work for everybody, it depends, but working out a deal where you can maybe get the software for free in exchange for, recommending that software on your blog, your podcast, whatever it might be.
Yeah, for sure. Referrals are awesome. Always to do. So why should you have a website and not just depend on social media platform? And whenever I started, it just never occurred to me not to have a website. I've been in business for a long, long time and been doing the social piece of it and realized the hard way that you needed that website. But I was surprised how many people I come across now that only use LinkedIn as their website, if you will. So talk to us a little bit about why you believe they should have a website.
Yeah, so a lot of people I know just use like a Facebook page for their business. And, I think you should have a social media presence, of course, but the problem with just relying on that and not having a website is, first of all, you don't own Facebook, whatever social platform it is, like it could go under overnight. Who knows? MySpace kind of did, sort of, back however many years ago. I mean, you just never know. Or like maybe they shut your page down for whatever reason, or
content-wise.
or somehow it just all your content gets deleted somehow, or who knows. There's so many possibilities. But if you have your own website, you own that, you have control over it. Plus it just looks more professional, in my opinion. Like when I'm trying to figure out who to do business with, like say I need to hire somebody for something. If all they have is a Facebook page or something like that and not an actual website, I just rule them out.
Right.
And move on to the next one. And, maybe that's just me, but,
yeah,
because there's so much competition out there, and sometimes you're having to decide between multiple companies. And that's just one of I like to have a website presence to look at, even as simple as and basic as it might be. But so I think that's really important.
Yeah, I know for me, when I built or had it built for me, it was really focused on my podcasting and my courses. and didn't really, and doesn't yet have my coaching part out there where people could say, I want you to be my coach. And so that's one of the things I know I'm going to be adding, because I want to put out what it entails and all that stuff, so people can become more informed rather than, okay, well, she says she's a coach. I don't really know what she offers. I guess I'll call and ask. And they're terrified to do that, I think, sometimes. So in that respect, I think it's a nice way for people to get comfort, to know whether they know, like, and trust you.
Yeah, true. And you can customize a website so much more than a Facebook page, for example.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the new things that I have, I'm with a group that has an app now. So everything that's on a website is on an app. And so people are more apt to have their phone in their hand. And so now all my courses, my summits and everything is all on this app, and my joint venture partnering. So again, I think you have to keep on thinking going forward, how can I be sure that people can find me? And if I'm all about connection. That's what my main superpower is to try to connect people with other people that can help them. And if I can say, oh, wait, you're talking about this person, wait, there, let me go down my directory. Oh, they're right here. And let me just connect you right away. Or I can, take you right to their app. So it's a cool way to do things and forward thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
So you say podcasting is the new blogging or website. And I totally agree with you, but talk to that for a little bit.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that, podcasting is really saturated. And compared to pre-COVID, I suppose it kind of is. But last I knew, I think there's like 4 million podcasts, but only 10% of them, so 400,000, are actually active, like routinely publishing episodes. But compared to last I checked, pre-COVID, 600 million blogs, and then YouTube channels, I think, are around the same. So when you compare it to that, there's still a lot of room for, growth and opportunity. And it's, people are getting busier and busier. If you're reading a blog or watching a YouTube video or whatever, that requires like dedicated attention, like your eyes. But when you're listening to a podcast, you could be driving, doing the dishes, whatever. And I think that's why it's becoming such a popular medium, because people can get educated or entertained or whatever while they're doing other things. And so they don't have to set aside separate time for it. And then people tend to binge podcasts. And then they really get to know, like, and trust the host, because it's different listening to someone than to read,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's why I think it's like the new blog. As far as being the new website, I still think you should have a website, of course, but it is kind of a way, and I encourage on your podcast to point people to your website.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of more of a, I guess, transition.
A launch pad. It really is a launch pad. And if you think of it, one of the new things, and I'm going to be doing this for all my social media sites as well as on my website, is to have an opening welcome video. And so this podcast is like your welcoming video. You're telling a little bit about what you do, and then that's enticing them to go to your website, which we always tell you how to get there. So I definitely can see how it is that launch pad. And that's the way I think of social media too. Whenever I first started, I used to always teach that, make sure that if you do Twitter, make sure Twitter talks about going to my Facebook or going to my website. If I'm on Facebook, make sure it talks about going to my website. If everything is directing you back to my website, where they could get richer, more in-depth information.
Yeah, or even like any social media posts or any kind of podcast call to action, leading to even like a lead magnet, so that you can get their email and continue to like email them and get them familiar with you and your business. That's also a good option.
Yeah, you put on your website those free PDFs or whatnot, free resources, and that gets your lead magnets. All right. So you have here something that I haven't done. So how to drop ship, the advantages of affiliate marketing. So talk to me about that. Maybe it's just a different way of saying something that I already do, but what are you talking about when you say drop ship, the advantages of affiliate marketing?
Oh, that's two different things. So drop shipping. So basically before I got into podcasting, I tried a whole bunch of different things online, and drop shipping is one of them. And that's basically where you're kind of like the middleman between the customer and the wholesaler, to where, like, for example, the website I had was for baby onesies.
Oh, nice.
And so I used a wholesaler, and so the onesies were maybe $1 or $2, but I would sell them for like 20. And so basically I didn't have to keep an inventory or anything, but they would order through my website, say they'd pay the $20. It would deduct the $2 or whatever it was. And then I usually included free shipping for them, but then I'd have to pay for it. So I might make $10, $15 or something like that. But then it gets packaged and shipped from the wholesaler, which is usually, in my case, was like China. So the delivery times took a long time.
Yeah.
So, and people are so used to Amazon. So that's kind of that's why I got out of it, was just because getting people to your website and to trust your website when they could just go to Amazon was kind of a challenge. But it was interesting to learn about. And then affiliate marketing is something I still do. And I think if you're a blogger, YouTuber, podcaster, any of those, affiliate marketing is a great extra way to supplement or monetize, because basically that's recommending product, services, software that ideally that you use and, recommend. I only, link to or refer to products and services that I use. But you'll get like a special link if you sign up with the company. They usually have an affiliate sign up. You get a link. You can create a pretty link out of that, so it's easier to say on a podcast.
Yeah.
And then if someone clicks on that, or say you create a pretty link and you say it on a podcast and they go to that site or that link, and then it redirects to the actual affiliate link, and say they make a purchase, well, then you would get a commission on that. So it's, in a way, it's kind of like,
it's paid referrals.
Yeah, it's a referral. And then like for podcasting, instead of sponsorship, I mean, you could do that too, but affiliate marketing is like getting paid on the back end, and only if they make a sale, whereas sponsorship would be you get paid on the front end and there's no guarantee for them that they'll get anything out of that.
Right. So I used to work for UPS, so drop shipping is exactly how I thought it was. And I came in when e-commerce was brand new way back then. And so that's when I was first exposed to drop shipping. So you did an excellent way of describing that. And I do affiliate marketing too. It's, anytime I do a summit, I give all of my speakers, guest speakers, an affiliate link so that they can get a commission. And I have on my website, the guy who created my website, he has an ad, if you will, and it has a link, and that's an affiliate link for me to get something back if you click on that. So yeah, for sure. Ways to monetize, I guess we need to find. What have you learned over this decade of being an entrepreneur?
I've learned that and I thought it was just me, but it turns out it's most entrepreneurs that we have shiny object syndrome where we'll think of a new business idea, or we'll see a new software program or a new app or a new social media platform, or whatever it might be, and feel like we have to go test that and launch that. And I think that's why I tried so many different things throughout my journey. It's just like you hear about something and you're like, oh, let me try that. That sounds interesting. And I think that's okay to a certain degree, but at a certain point you have to figure out, find your lane, your niche, and stick to that. Because if you're doing 10 different things, well, then each thing can only get 10% of your time, attention, and money. But if you focus on one, I mean, like for me now, I have several different things that I focus on within podcasting, but it's all in the podcast space. So, I think that's okay if it all kind of goes together. But, like whether it's courses and then coaching and podcast production, for example, things like that. But it's all in that same umbrella.
Right. So you have a couple books and that we'll talk about shortly. What would your advice be regarding self-publishing over traditional? And then there's hybrid too. So what are your thoughts? I did 4 books last year, so I have my opinion too.
Yeah, so I've never gone the traditional hybrid route, but so I've self-published technically 5 books, but one was a kind of more of a journal, so 4 actual books. And what I like about self-publishing is you have complete control over the timing, the content, all of that. You can do it for free through Amazon. You don't have to keep an inventory or anything. Like when someone orders, it's kind of like dropshipping, I guess. When someone orders on Amazon, Amazon then prints it up and sends it out, and all that stuff. But the main benefit, I guess, is that you can go on your own time schedule, your own content, plus whatever you have your book marked up for, like other than the Amazon fees, you would then make, I think, so there's like a flat fee they take out, which is like $2 or something for a physical book. Well, it depends on how many pages. And then I think then they take out 30% after that. But so you're still making, it depends on what you price your book, but you could be making $5-10 a book. Whereas traditional publishing, as I understand it, is you usually make about $1 a book after all is said and done, because I guess so-and-so has to get paid, and then so-and-so and so-and-so, and you're kind of like the last one. The author is like the last one that gets paid. But also with traditional publishing, first of all, it's really hard to get, I mean, unless you're some well-known famous person already, then it's going to be hard to even get a traditional deal first and foremost.
Correct.
And then even if you do, the timeline on it, I mean, you could have the book finished and it still take 18 months to come out, which with any kind of nonfiction, I mean, stuff changes so fast these days. It seems like by the time the book comes out, it's almost irrelevant, depending on the topic, I guess. But then also, like, they could totally control the content. I mean, you won't have as much creative control, basically. So yeah, I definitely recommend self-publishing unless you're
I went hybrid for all of mine, and the reason they provide an editor again I was only a contributor. I'm working now on my own book, but I'm still going the hybrid route. But they created the cover. They helped with the launch party. So all of mine are bestsellers, and they didn't hardly change anything that I wrote. So that was nice. So hybrid was, and again, whenever we talked to them, they did not recommend the traditional either, that you had to be like an Oprah to be able to get a traditional deal. So it was like, no way. But as a contributor, I didn't make anything on that initial book. Now, if I bought the books for $5 and sold them myself, then I'd get 100% of whatever I charge for them. So that's the only way that as a contributor to a collaborative book that you can make any money. But yeah, I think I will go the traditional way, because I have too many things going on to do the self-publishing. But I know several authors that have done the self-publishing.
Yeah, with self-publishing, you do have to do your own cover, you have to get your own editor, all of that. So if you're like not a very dedicated or organized or too busy or whatever, like, yeah, you have to be pretty like that's your focus for those 3 months or whatever it might be.
Yeah, because I think for a hybrid, it's about $6,000 for the publishers that I work with.
Oh, okay.
To do everything and be done with it. So to me, that was worth it.
Yeah. So I think okay, all my books are under 100 pages. They're like 80 pages. They're really quick reads. And so the cover art plus the editing, I think on average per book, I spent maybe 200, 250,
yeah, that sounds
that.
about right. Yeah. Because I know that one group you can use their editors, or they have recommendations for some that, and they only charge $100 a edit job.
Oh,
it's not per hour or anything. They just charge $100. But they said other people charge upwards of 200 or more for the job, and it depends on also how many pages, just as you were describing. So you do have to do your research.
Yeah. It takes more time in a way, I suppose.
Yeah. And so I'm working on a collaborative book right now, and it's going to be out in November. So 3 months generally is what it's been for all of the books that I did last. So that's how I could do 4 in a year. So those are all things I think people need to consider. But as a podcaster, I do, as you saw, I do AI transcripts of all my podcasts now. And when I have really interesting guests, I always tell them, hey, I'm going to do collaborative books in 2024. And if I contact you, would you mind being in my book? I'm just going to give you the transcript, and you can then add to it or subtract from it, depending on how many words it is, and be in my book. And so it's a lot less stressful for you, because I think it's some brilliance comes out in these podcasts that you might not think when you're sitting down at your blank page trying to write. So it's a great way to do that.
Yeah, that is. I think that's becoming a popular, I don't know, category of collaboration books.
Yeah. And I find them interesting because it gives you not just one thought. It gives you a sort of a broad spectrum on a subject, or many aspects of, being a business owner, an entrepreneur, leadership, confidence, whatever that topic matter would be. So the last thing, we're running out of time, but the last thing is, what are some steps you took to create your podcast?
Let's see. Okay, so it's kind of funny because I launched the podcast about 4 years ago, And it was to coincide with my first book that I came out with called Frugalpreneur. So my first book was Frugalpreneur. The podcast is called Frugalpreneur. The plan was to just have the podcast as kind of like an extra marketing avenue. It was going to be like 10 episodes. But I got more leverage and traction with the podcast than the book. I love the networking and connections I was making. And so I've just continued it. And I mean, the first thing when starting a podcast is you have to have a podcast host to host the files. You don't just, I think a lot of people think you upload the audio directly to Apple, Spotify, and 20 and 30 other platforms, but you actually have a host that you upload it to, do the show notes, all that stuff. And then they, deliver that basically to all the different platforms. So you need that. And usually that's maybe $20 a month, depending on who you go with. I use Captivate. I really like them. But there's like Buzzsprout, Libsyn, several. And then I recommend getting a mic instead of like just, so what I have, and I don't think they make it anymore. It's the ATR 2100. I think they make some other model now, but there's also the Samsung Q2U. Is that what you have?
Okay. It is. I love it's a Track Pro, 8-track Pro. Okay.
Yeah. And these mics that I'm talking about are only like 60 or 80 bucks.
I think this one was 100 something, but it's good. If I was across the desk from somebody, it has mono or dual, so I can get the 2-track.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, those are the key things, and of course, the mic that I use, the ones I've referred to, are USB mics.
And that's, I think as you're talking, it's really important for people to understand you can start out with this and then go to USB. And if you're thinking you're really loving it, like the Samsung then can change to be able to go into that. I forget the name of the thing, but the control panel of whatever.
Yeah, they come with the USB and the XLR or whatever that you can plug into the other thing. I can't remember the name of it either, but I will after this.
I know. After we're done, we'll both think, oh, dang, that's what that was.
Yeah. So really, that's all you need, like getting started. And then from there,
well, you see, you have headsets and I have just earbuds, and I also wired, but I also have earbuds that I could use too.
Yeah, either one works. The key or the main reason to even do that is so that the sound isn't coming out of your computer and then getting picked up like an echo. So, but yeah, the headphones, they could be the nicest headphones in the world or just earbuds. That part really doesn't matter because it doesn't affect your sound. It's just
for podcasting for sure. So we talked about your books, and so for my rapid fire, just real quickly, Frugalpreneur, what's the main focus of that one? And then Authorpreneur, what's the focus of that? Podcastpreneur, and just kind of share us with those main focuses for each of those books that you have and your new one.
Yeah, so Frugalpreneur, that's about how to manage, market, and monetize. Actually, because the subtitles
tell you more.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've talked about that. So Frugalpreneur, how to launch, manage, and market your online business for under 100 a month. And that's basically talking about the different types of online business models and how to run them on a budget. And then Authorpreneur, how to self-publish and launch a book to build your business.
Very good.
And then Podcastpreneur, how to produce, promote, and profit with a podcast. And then my latest book is 27 Ways to Market and Monetize a Podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And all of those are available on Amazon, but in a few moments, we're going to give you a way to get those even faster, better. So at that, let me share my screen so you can get the contact information. As always, I remind those that are just listening that you should have a pencil and paper from the very beginning to get all these great tips that Sarah shared with you. But if you didn't, go get it now because I'm going to give you the website. All right, so hopefully you've grabbed that paper and pencil. If not, this information will be available on my YouTube channel as well as the show notes for in my website. And this video will contain this slide. So her website is https://www.thesarahstjohn.com. Again, thesarahstjohn.com. She is a wonderful person and gave you just one link that will take you to her media kit with all of her social media sites. So again, that is thesarahstjohn.com/media-kit. She has a podcast, as mentioned, and you can get to that by going to www.frugal.show. Again, www.frugal.show. Now let Sarah talk to you about what will you find if you go to www.frugal.show. Sarah?
Yeah, so that's actually the website for my podcast. So you can check out the episodes, reviews.
Definitely want to check out your podcast for sure.
Yeah. And then I give away some of the books that we had mentioned and some others at frugal.show/free. And those are PDF downloads.
Very good. And again, her new book, 27 Ways to Market and Monetize a Podcast, Frugalpreneur, Authorpreneur, and Podcastpreneur, all on this slide so you can remember all of her books. All right. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. I knew that it would be interesting. You gave wonderful tips, great insights for people who are just thinking of starting a podcast or self-publishing, or people that are already doing it and thinking, oh, wait, I'm spending too much money. I should rethink this whole situation. So thank you again for being just a wonderful guest.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.